No, don't do it, human. Don't summon me again. Ah! Genially back with some knowledge to share with you from a science, a whole new science, a science in the depths of the universe that I have unlocked thanks to this book by John Frawley, especially chapter 2. What I'm going to say about the John Frawley's method is that if you follow his words in chapter 2 word by word, you will not find consistency. You will find consistency once you go and delve deep into the method like I have. And since 2017, I intuitively saw something in this method that is not in the book, and I eventually have unlocked a whole science that you will not find anywhere except for this channel and maybe my website. Anyway, let's get into it. So I won on July 29th. I won a few days after that too. I won today as well. But I'm going to share with you a technique that I used to figure out this game right here. All right, this was the Copa America that is happening in Ecuador for the women. All right, and Brazil was favored, of course. They're always favored in soccer against Uruguay. They were favored by like 2 goals. All right, so let's get into the chart really fast. Okay, here's the chart. All right, July 29th, 2025. Let me just do this. Yeah, like that. All right, in Ecuador. This was taking place in Ecuador. Okay. Let's look at the odds fast. Brazil opened at 475. Minus 417. Closed at 588. 1.5 opening. 2 goal closing. Okay. Chart really fast. All right. So the first thing I do, and what you should do as well, is you look for the configuration. Okay. Each chart has a code, as I call it. This is what I discovered. All right, not Frawley, but me. And I'll show you how to discover the code. Hopefully you can understand from here. Okay. So just look at the aspects in the chart. There's one right in front of your face. Moon sextile. That's like the biggest giveaway for the favorite. Okay, then we had shadow of pot of fortune in Capricorn, because the shadow of Sagittarius is Capricorn. You just subtract the planet by 30, or the point, and that is 15. So that also receives a square from the moon. Okay, that's one to Uruguay. Then, since pot of fortune is in Sagittarius, its dispositor is Jupiter in Cancer, right? And it being in Cancer at 11 degrees receives a square from the moon as well. Okay, so there's 2 squares, and this was important. I'll explain later. And the dispositor is opposing the pot of fortune's shadow as well. There, so 3 to the underdogs. All right. Now, according to Frawley, this kind of chart would favor the underdog because there's more testimonies to the underdog than the favorite here, right? Only 1 to the favorite, 4 to the underdog. And there's one weak aspect, or one weak parameter here for the underdog as well here. It's right here. You see ruler of 7th, Sun, Leo. Its shadow is Taurus. The anti-sign for Leo is Taurus. So you subtract the Sun by 30, and it's like 23 degrees, right? So 23 degrees Taurus, there's the Sun, right? And it's at 23, it is tucked inside the 4th cusp. All right, and 7 anti-sign in 4th there. So there we go. We have the chart. We have the code. The code is, I just showed you here, right here, okay? This is the code for the Brazil-Uruguay chart. 3 underdog bodily aspects, 1 by anti-sign, in the cusp and 1 to the favorite. Let's show you this again. All right, this was a chart, and it's mutual. What that means is the moon is making multiple aspects. Okay. Now, so I looked into my database and I found a similar chart. Not identical, but similar. But all right, to be 100%, it has to be identical. I'll show you here. So why is this similar? It's similar because here's the chart, by the way. Tuesday, 6th July 2021. A soccer match between Trinidad and French Guyana. And this was CONCACAF Gold Cup, all right? This is like the North and Central America qualification thingy, all right? So in this chart, it's similar because, as you can see, moon makes a sextile to 7, and then a square to Fortuna's antisign, all right? So that makes it mutual. All right, so just like the Brazil chart, it is also mutual. Now, are the parameters the same as well? Yes, they are, as you can see. Saturn opposing 1, 3 underdogs. And the ruler of 4th, Pisces, Jupiter, inside 4th, is a weak aspect. When a ruler is inside its own house, near the cusp, 3.3 degrees, it is a weak aspect, right? Like this one. And 1 to the favorite aspect, which is right here, Uranus, making conjunction to the shadow of 1, which is Mars in Leo, subtracted by 30. It's like 14 something degrees right there in Taurus, and then it applies to Uranus conjunction. All right, here we go. So this chart is also 3 underdog aspects, 1 weak underdog, and 1 favorite. Okay, mutual. All right, so now knowing this, the results should be the same as it correlates with the odds, right? Let's look at the odds. The favorite team here opened at 263, closed at 385. Open at 1, closed at 1.5. All right, so the odds moved in their favor, just like the Brazil game that we just saw. See, same movement. It went up by a half point. Went up by, this is the money line. Went up by a half point, so it's moving in their favor. All right, but in the Trinidad game, the favored team did not win. Why? In regulation. While in this team, the Brazil game, the favorite team did win. And they covered its spread as well. Alright? So that means there was a difference in the chart. And I was able to predict this game and bet on it. Okay? And I will show you my way. Oh, I gotta do it right here in front of you guys. And I was able to bet on it right here. I only bet on the spread, and I only bet 100 because it was Tuesday and I did not have identical data. All right, so the spread was at like the 2-point spread was at, or the 2-goal spread was at plus 118, and I just put 100. I'm like, let me go for it. On Tuesdays I don't wager a lot, only on Sundays. All right, and they won. All right, so remember, let me just repeat. The two charts had similar code, 3 underdogs, bodily aspects, 1 favorite, 1 weak underdog, and both were mutual, right? But the Brazil and the Uruguay chart, this one, was different, all right? And it was different because of the 2 square aspects, as you can see here. Look, moon made a square to the shadow of the pot of fortune, and a square to the dispositor of Fortuna. All right, so it's the moon is making 2 squares as opposed to the other chart where the moon is not making two squares or two identical aspects, right? And so I observed this and I concluded that these two were different, all right? Now, why is this important? All right, I'll tell you why it's important, all right? Just follow me. I hope you're following me. This data that I have, I try my best to put it out there, but the nature of the data is so that it's difficult to explain. And, I guess only the people who find me in this matrix will understand and profit. But either way, so these two were different, and because in the record chart, this one, remember the odds went up, and the favorite did not win, right? Trinidad's odds went up in their favor, but they did not win in regulation. It ended 1-1. It went into penalties or something. But we only care about regulation with this method. So here's a Trinidad and Guyana match. And for some reason it's deleted. Anyway, so the odds moved in their favor, in the favorite team favor, and they did win, okay? I don't know what happened there. Sorry, they did not win. It was a Brazil game that won, right? Alright, so this was the conclusion from the record, alright, the Trinidad game. So now for the Brazil and Uruguay game, okay, the odds moved. Should I just use voice? Damn. Alright, sorry, excuse my language. Moved in favor of Brazil, a favorite team. And what happened, remember? Brazil won, and they covered the spread as well. So this chart was a win. Now, why did it happen? Again, I'm going back to this. The reason Brazil won, because remember, the chart, again, the configuration is the same as the other team, alright? Except for the double, okay? The reason Brazil won and did not lose, or the game did not go into a tie like the Trinidad game, was because of the double aspect. Yeah, that's just what I'm trying to say. And having so much data, when you spot these differences in charts, you're able to, figure out if it's gonna be opposite the movement of the spread or if it will go with the spread, right? I figured out it was opposite the Brazil one, because remember, Brazil won while it went in their favor because there was more than a mutual aspect like it was for Trinidad, okay? For the Trinidad game, it was mutual with this configuration. For the Brazil game, it was mutual and double, right? And that's why they won, really. Yes. And and the favorite team won. They won. There we go. All right. Live. All right. Unedited. And that was it, guys. This is why I won, and this is why I keep winning. I'm desensitized to winning. Eventually, I will create a space or maybe a group where I will, most likely sell picks or maybe sell secrets. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but as of right now, I'm just enjoying it and increasing my capital. And they say astrology is not a millionaire talent, it's actually a billionaire talent, something like that. And I can see why, although I'm not a millionaire yet. Anyway, uh, I hope you understood and followed what I said or how I explained it. It's not easy to put it out there. Again, I'm gonna say that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next appearance. Bye bye.